Welcome, YouTubers! It's Pride Resurrection, a video review and commentary show dedicated to the Pride Fighting Championship, where with each episode, we'll take a look back at a specific Pride Fighting event. And today, we're going to be taking a look at Pride number 4. I am the most dangerous man alive today, and I'm joined by the Colombian Good Vibe AJ.
Woo!
Say hello, AJ.
Hello, AJ.
We also have the Machine LD with us. Say hello, Machine.
How's it going?
He's back. We're glad to have him back. He missed the last episode, but you're going to make up for that today.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's October 11th, 1998. Do you know where you were on this date? Well, I know where 36,000 Japanese fight fans were, stuffed into the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan like dolphins into a tuna can, just to see some punch and kick fighting. Did you know around this time, President Clinton was being impeached? Just a little historical fact for you.
Okay, bet.
It's been more than 4 months since Pride number 3, and this eve of MMA action will be treated to 8 MMA bouts of spectacle, and thank God, all are scheduled for only 3 10-minute rounds. No insane, crazy round times. This was considered by many to be a super show, one of the early ones for Pride, with the likes of Kerr, Akira, Shoji, Sakuraba, Goodridge, Takada, and of course Rickson Gracie making appearances, along with several newcomers to Pride Fighting, including Igor Vovchanchyn, Alexander Otsuka, and Satoshi Honma. We were once again treated to the spectacularly shitty DVD experience at this event, though. I think we'll all agree, the shit DVDs, but hopefully one day soon we'll be past that. Like I said, I have, once we get to Pride 10, I have all the actual pay-per-view events. Okay. No more DVDs, just the actual pay-per-view broadcast.
I mean, those graphics are getting pretty 90s for my taste.
But they're trying. You know what? Whoever...
No, they stopped trying. Like, honestly, shit hasn't changed. Like, all they change is the number. I've looked at these graphics. I'm like, maybe they're improving. Maybe they're trying to add something. No, they're fucking not. It's the same fucking shit. All they've added is those goddamn intro videos to the main fighter of a fight. But those intro videos, some of them make the fighter look retarded.
Yes.
Like, the biggest one I noticed was Matsui's. It makes him look retarded.
He always looks retarded. I
know, but his video just makes it. It's like, I'm punching the air. Yeah. Like, I can't take that.
That's what they do at the Takada dojo. So, without further ado, let's get on to the fights. Fight number 1 of the evening sees Igor Vovchanchyn from the Ukraine, who stands 5'8", was 235 pounds, and was only a mere 24 years old at the time. Igor's MMA record at this point was an insane 34-2. 34-2, holy shit! And only 2 of his victories were by way of decision, while 28 were by way of KO or TKO. He's facing off against a returning Gary Big Daddy Goodridge, who stands 6'3", was 240 pounds, and was 32 years old at the time. Gary's MMA record, meanwhile, was 8-6. Stephen Quadros welcomes us in live, he says, from the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan.
Okay, here we are, back with the Pride Fighting Championships, number 4. Hi, everybody. My name is Stephen Quadros, and welcome to the Pride Fighting Championships, number 4. We're here live at the Tokyo Dome. My partner, Boss Rutan, is here with us.
Of course, as revealed in the last episode, we all know they were not live, and instead, both Quadros and Boss Rutan were in some American studio recording their commentary sometime in the year 2000. Gary Goodridge is coming off a absolute mud stomping of a mere what's-his-name, and looks to continue here with another smashing of a smaller fighter, as Igor is giving up a ton of height and reach to Goodridge. But just who is this Igor Vovchanchyn? Born in a small village, now there's a lot of fucking Russian words coming up here, so bear with me, folks. Born in a small village of Zolochiv, Ukraine in 1963, which was under the Soviet Union at the time, Igor would take up track and field at the age of 17 before he would move on to boxing. In 1993, Igor met Eugenia Borshevskaya? Is that how you say it? Eugene the Russian, the General Secretary of All Eurasia Kickboxing Federation. And Igor would be enticed by him to take up punch kickboxing, the sport, which is known as kickboxing, making a tear through the Ukrainian and Russian regional kickboxing promotions over the next 2 years, amassing a jaw-dropping kickboxing record of 61-1.
Holy shit.
Tear it up.
Who the fuck was he fighting? I mean, over 2 years, 60.
Yeah, but think about it. Like, that's an impressive record when you think that he's probably fighting other Russians. And somewhere along that, he probably fucking fought a bear. It's Russia. You know that's fucking what happened.
Yes.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Before the fight, Quadro says this one will be explosive, and that is definitely going to be true. And you'll see much more of Igor Vovchanchyn in upcoming episodes.
He's got a good highlight.
Yeah, I don't think either one of these guys can have a boring fight. Round number 1. Igor opens up with a hard leg kick. They clinch in the corner. Gary with double underhooks, and he muscles Igor down. Goodridge is in Igor's guard, and he lays on top of him. Igor with a big cut over his eye already, which streams blood down his face and ear. It must have only come from a clash of heads.
That's what I thought. I thought they clashed heads when it went to the ground.
Yeah, I didn't see any punches.
Even near his, like, that part of his face.
No. Goodridge falls back for a leg lock heel hook. What was he thinking? But Igor quickly sits up and gets right into mount. Goodridge must not have known that Igor has never been submitted before, so why try a leg lock or heel hook here? Goodridge rolls, gives up his back, and Igor falls off him. Goodridge gets back into Igor's guard. Goodridge delivers a few strikes to the body and head of Igor. Quadros and Rutan cover some of the tournament experience of Igor and how he won a few 4-man tournaments and even 16-man tournaments.
Vovchanchyn won like 4 tournaments already, yeah? 4 8-man tournaments. Yeah, he's won a number of them in Russia. He's gone. He made it to the finals in a 16-man tournament and he lost.
That explains his sizable record. Goodridge stands up and holds both of Igor's legs. Goodridge goes back into guard and he's in straight up missionary position. Goodridge postures up and slams down 2 hard right hands, but Igor pushes them off and they stand. They clinch and head right to the ropes. Goodridge with a body lock again. They spin off the ropes and toward the mat, and Goodridge once again lands on top. Goodridge holds down Igor for a moment, then moves to half guard. Igor wails away at Goodridge's head. Goodridge postures up to strike, and Igor immediately realizes it and pushes Goodridge away. Goodridge stalks over Igor for a minute, as 5 minutes have passed in the fight. Hilariously, Goodridge asks the ref, "Can I kick face?"
Can I kick face? Can I kick face? No face.
Can I kick face? He asks the referee.
To which the ref responds, no. Boss has a very good laugh, and it's funny because he's like, "Can I kick face?" Like in broken English.
Yeah.
The ref is gonna.
Yeah, I like that too. Why the broken English? It's like he's not gonna understand, dude.
Yeah.
Broken and slow, because, you know, the ref will understand. Can I kick face?
Yes. At this time, in the Pride rules, they did not allow kicks or knees to a head of a downed opponent. That will change, though, in next couple of events.
Shame too, because it could have changed the outcome of that fight.
Absolutely. Igor stands up. He moves in, and they both swing away, though mostly they miss. Bosk asks for knees, and Goodridge does deliver one knee from this position. Igor with a right and left. Goodridge sends one back as Igor fires another left, which finds its mark, followed by an uppercut and straight that causes Goodridge to lose his bearings as Goodridge nearly falls with open arms. Igor swarms Goodridge, and Goodridge covers his face as the ref must sense that Goodridge is in danger, and suddenly the fight is stopped. Igor Vovchanchyn is declared the winner via TKO at 5 minutes and 58 seconds of the first round, and Goodridge exits the ring very quickly. He must have been upset over that stoppage.
Honestly, that was a good call. Like, every time, like, they showed the replay of that last couple hits, Gary was out of it. Like, honestly, I see the other guy just continuing the chain. If Gary had if the ref had not called it, Gary would have been completely knocked out.
I would have given him a few more. I would have given him like 10 more seconds just to see, because he's known in that for being a fairly durable fighter. You know what I mean? There's another one that early. Don Frye was beating his ass for like 8 straight minutes and he didn't, drop. I would have given him benefit of the doubt, but I think you're right though. He was going to be done no matter what. But
yeah. Especially against such a strong kickboxer.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ref made the right call in the moment. If you look at Gary Goodridge, he pretty much was out on his feet. He fell right back in the corner. Mm-hmm. He didn't know where it was. He turned his back. He grabbed for the ropes, put his head down. Igor, from that position, could have just continued to smash him. And while Gary Goodridge might have been upset over that, I think in an era where you have bad refs that don't stop fights early on.
Yeah, it could have been like, which Pride was that? The guy that got taken out in the
Pride 1
was that
Oleg Takada?
Yeah, when he got taken out on the stretcher was because the ref stopped it like 2-3 hits too late.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now you'll have that though. The reffing wasn't is what it is today.
Yeah.
Even today, it's not all that great, but it's a lot better.
I will say, the reffing just in Pride alone has improved so much from like Pride 1 when they were doing jack shit. to now the refs are all over. Like the moment a fighter touches the ropes, they're all over him, just like kicking his hand out so he can't grab it.
Slowly but surely, they are improving with every event. Yeah, I think there was no way. If I was the ref, I would have stopped this fight.
Oh yeah, hands down.
So, what would happen with our two power punchers here? Both fighters would head off to battle in non-Pride events after Pride number 4 here, between their next appearance in Pride. Igor Vovchanchyn would fight in 2 World Vale Tudo Championship events back-to-back, both in WVC number 6 and WVC number 7, which he would headline. Both would take place in Brazil, with WVC taking place in November of 1998 and February of 1999 for WVC number 7. He would win both fights via TKO due to punches. Igor would return to Japan in April of 1999 for Pride number 5 to face off against Akira Shoji.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Oh my god. So we'll see him, Ned, and I'm looking forward to that one. As for Gary Big Daddy Goodridge, he wouldn't return to Pride until Pride number 6, and his next MMA fight, though, would be at UFC number 19 against Andre Roberts in a good old US of A fight which he would win via submission of punches. So we'll see you in Pride number 6, Big Daddy.
Well, Kerr Shoji, hopefully not practicing what he intends to do in the fight. There he is, Wallid Ismail. Now, this guy has one of the most intense stares in sports.
He's got the bad boy shorts. They're made for him.
Fight number 2 of the evening, which sees a returning Akira Shoji, who stands 5'8", was listed at 194 pounds, and was only 24 years old at the time. He had an MMA record at the time of 2-1-3. That's 2 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws. He's facing off against Wallid Ismail from Brazil, who stands 5'7", was 182 pounds, and was 30 years old at the time. His MMA record, meanwhile, was 6-1. In between his last appearance in Pride number 3, Akira Shoji fought in a GMC Vale Tudo event in Japan, which happened on August 29th, a month and 2 weeks before Pride number 4 here. He faced off against Adriano da Souza, another Brazilian, to a 3-round draw. But who is this Wallid Ismail? Wallid was born in the Amazonas state of Brazil and would earn his Brazilian black belt under Rickson Gracie, who was the eldest son of legendary Carlos Gracie, who was one of the original co-creators of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, along with his brother Helios Gracie. Wallid began his MMA career in 1991, facing off against Eugenio Tadao at Defensio Jiu-Jitsu versus Luta Libre. What a weird fucking event. It's called Defensio Jiu-Jitsu versus Luta Libre.
Luta Libre, is that not just Lucha Libre? Which
No.
means...
That's different.
It was a bare fist brawling Vale Tudo event. But Wallid didn't start his MMA career in earnest until 1996, where he would have several fights in the Universal Vale Tudo fighting promotion. He would fight at UFC 12 in February of 1997, facing Kazuo Takahashi, who was the Pancrase stalwart, in a bout that he would lose via decision.
I remember that fight. It was ridiculous. He pulled his cup out of his pants during the, it was ridiculous. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. Have you ever seen it?
Who pulled it? No, I didn't.
The other guy.
The Japanese guy?
It was fucking ridiculous.
He took Walid's cup out of
his cup was hanging out of his shorts during the fight.
I got it. Listen, no, even if UFC is gonna block the video, I gotta show him.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Have you ever seen it? It's so ridiculous. I have the original VHS at home.
Wow.
That's right, you do have quite a few of the original UFC.
Yeah, and he's on it. So if you want it, like, if you can't find it anywhere or something like that, we'll figure something out. But it's great.
Just a note, we get some awesome Japanese techno like chip tune for the title card of this fight, which I'm gonna include right here because it's pretty badass. During the introduction, Shoji does calisthenics on the mat, which Quadros quips, hopefully not practicing what he intends to do during the fight.
I like during the intro they say that Ismail is like, he has an intense stare. I'm like, no shit, have you seen these guys' fucking eyebrows on his face? I'm pretty sure he's trying to compensate because I think he's actually keeping his eyes open even more just to make fun of the fact that Shoji has like slanted eyes. He's like, oh, look what my eyes can do. Oh, and then stares at fucking...
That's what I have written here in my next note. Holy fucking eyebrows! Yikes, Ismail is one ugly son of a bitch. And holy fucking pug face on Ismail during the stare down. He's got a pea-sized head and giant fucking eyes.
Yeah,
and
shit.
And one more comment here. Holy fucking tan on the ring announcer. He is nearly black.
I did not see that. I was not looking for that. I was too distracted by fucking Ismail, man. Fucking years of hunting whales. This is what gets you.
He's an ugly fucking bastard. All right, fight number one.
By the way, another quick thing. Yes. Once the fight started, I am very, very uncomfortable with the fact that Ismail has eyes on his ass.
Oh, that's yes.
Yeah, they always had the bad boy. Like,
the bad boy. That's been going on forever.
Shogun used to sport those.
Yeah.
But like all of a sudden, every time like there's a grapple or something, all of a sudden, boom, eyes staring right back at me. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this thing. Because even like not only the eyes, but the entire logo almost made it look like a nose, but at the same time, it almost looked like a dick. So I was like, what the hell is going on here?
It's funny that bad boy apparel has been around for so long in MMA, because it's still around today, though you won't see it on UFC with the fucking stupid uniforms. Oh, excuse me.
Right.
As I was saying, there's a leg kick by Shoji, followed by a short right, which causes Ismail to try and grab Shoji. Shoji drags Ismail down to the mat. They fight for position before Shoji ends up on his ass in the corner. Not much action here besides they slowly move away from the corner. Ismail is very patient, according to Quadros. They exchange a few strikes, then they stand, go right back to the mat, then right back up as Ismail holds on to Shoji. Quadros and Boss Rutan both comment on Shoji's great takedown defense. He does have some very good takedown defense. Oh, they go right back to the mat.
And Shoji's takedown his takedown defense is extraordinary, in my opinion.
Listen, I wish that I had a takedown defense like this.
Ismail tries to open up with some punches, and he straight up punches the rope with one that is one of the loudest punches you'll hear that wasn't actually on to an opponent. Shoji just lays there and kicks Ismail off. They stand, and Ismail takes him right back down. Apparently, Ismail is a maniac about jiu-jitsu, according to Quadros.
Wallid is one of those individuals that is so passionate about jiu-jitsu. Oftentimes, when one of his teammates win, he leads the chant of jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu after the fight. And he's like a maniac about that.
Listening to Boss, Brazil sounds like a horrible, terrible place to grow up because apparently everyone just street fights.
Yeah, also known for a street fight. There was a lot of street fights also. But I guess everybody in Brazil is.
I think so. It's like the old Wild West down there.
Yeah.
It's true, man. I've been there. That's clearly what fucking happens. Everybody's drinking coffee and fucking street fighting.
5 minutes have passed in round 1. Ismail tries some more strikes from top position, but doesn't net much gain. Ismail is on the verge of imposing his game plan according to Quadros. God, we can only hope. Ismail moves to weird side half guard and he smacks Shoji with a left as he crawls up Shoji's body trying to get to mount, which he does get. Ismail hammers down a few rights and lefts. Just as Ismail goes to deliver a right, Shoji pushes up Ismail and rolls, causing Ismail to lose his balance and position, and Shoji gets to his feet where he rains down a few strikes on a flailing Ismail.
Shoji is really good at that. At the whole like rolling away from
escaping.
Yeah. The whole escape thing. He's really.
He couldn't get away with that stuff now, but in early MMA, he could definitely even
the fight he had. I don't know if it was the last one or the 2 fights ago. He kept doing that over and over.
Well, the one where he fought Renzo Gracie.
Yeah, that would be Pride 1.
Pride 2.
Pride 2.
Where he kept escaping. Great escapes. Yes. Clearly exhausted from that exchange, Shoji merely gives up and falls to his knees as Ismail finally has a grasp on him. 3 minutes left in round number 1. Shoji has a small cut under his right eye, plus his eye looks like it's starting to swell. Ismail pounds away as he gets to side control. Ismail moves on to mount and gives Shoji a motherly hug. Oh, that's very sweet of him. Ismail postures up, strikes down on a Shoji, but they are just kind of grazing blows and don't really connect. Just when you think Shoji has nothing left, he pushes and rolls and manages to get Ismail off him, getting to his feet and kicking Ismail in the thigh for good measure.
He doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yes. And hey, look at this. Did you ever see that?
That was absolutely awesome. Oh, good right hand by Shoji. Shoji getting away from the ankle pick, getting sprawled on top of Wallid.
Ismail himself must be nearly exhausted too, as he really doesn't try to stand or dodge an incoming Shoji. Ismail manages to grab Shoji's ankle, and Shoji hops around trying to escape, but he falls to the mat before getting tied up in the ropes. There's 1 minute remaining in round number 1. The refs are either opportunistic gropers or they're merely trying to help Shoji get back into the ring. You decide, fans, as I'll include a little clip here. Ismail struggles to get Shoji down, and there is a loud, ghastly moan from who I can't determine. It's either from Ismail or a disembodied spirit.
But as you said, it may be just him expressing his breathing, boss.
That's it. Catching your breath.
Okay, Shoji fell back.
Hang on, dude.
Did you hear that?
I heard that.
It was like... Right. I want to say that was the furnace.
Shoji simply falls to his ass as Ismail falls on top of him. Both are obviously very tired just from the action in round 1 here. Ismail tries to club Shoji, sneaking in a few here and there. They smack each other a couple times, and then the bell rings, ending round 1 with 10 minutes down. During a round break, we get a shot or two of who I assume is someone important or famous, perhaps a pro wrestler, but I have no idea, as neither Boss nor Quadros comment on him, and I'm too lazy to try and look up a Google image search to figure out who the hell that is. That's it, really.
It'd be great if it was just nobody, just panned to some random guy in the crowd, like, all right, I'm here now.
Anyway, round number 2. At the beginning of the round, a sponsor sticker has begun to peel off of Ismail's shorts, and the ref rips that shit right off him. Less money for him, says Boss.
And his win looks good. Uh-oh, there goes the sponsor. Less money for him.
Give me that shit.
Yes. Labored leg kick by Shoji. Both men look very tired, but Ismail looks like he's on Queer Street, wobbling and staggering around. Shoji seizes the opportunity and cracks Ismail with a nice right as Ismail goes down to the mat. Shoji lets him try to stand, but Ismail must be fucked by something as he struggles. Maybe he is gassed out or maybe something else is going on, but finally, after a moment, he manages to get to his feet. Shoji throws some punches at a near defenseless Ismail who seems unable or unwilling to defend against Shoji's attacks. Shoji unloads on Ismail, cracking him with a few nice, good, solid punches, and suddenly the ref jumps in and waves the fight off. The bell rings and Shoji is declared the winner. The ring announcer gives the mic to Shoji right after, but sadly we don't get to hear him scream inanely.
All right. So sometime in this fight, and next time I'm for things like this, I'm gonna have to write down when it happens. Boss Rutan says the pinky doesn't count.
No, they're
not. It's like he's not hitting with the two big knuckles. He's hitting with the bottom knuckles, the pinky knuckle.
The pinky doesn't count, Stephen.
And I put down words to live by. The pinky doesn't count.
Yeah, he threw those glancing punches. He was just getting like.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and he said that. I'm like, that's my motto for life.
The pinky doesn't. So wherever the pinky can sneak.
So
in.
you know what? It makes perfect sense. At the same time, Bill Clinton was trying to find out the definition of the word is.
Yes.
The
That's
pinky
right.
doesn't count. Would have helped him.
Thoughts on this fight?
I gotta say, it was a really good fight. And, you know, Shoji's one of those fighters, like, ever since his first Pride appearance, he's just exponentially gotten better.
He's gotten clearly better every single time he's fought.
Yes. Yeah. And, like, it's always just, like, a certain aspect. In this one, it was definitely his striking.
For sure.
And I have written here, I don't know if Ismail was jet lagged or maybe he blew his wad in the first round, but I think he was carrying around too much muscle at the time, and he might be effective at jiu-jitsu, but with all that muscle, clearly he spends a lot of time weightlifting. Maybe he was on some type of steroid.
Or maybe it just takes a lot of energy to keep his eyes open.
Or carry those eyebrows.
Big sons of bitches, man.
But something was up, and he gassed out. But anyway, I thought it was a good fight as well. So what would become of our two fighters here? Shoji would be back in the spring of 1999 for Pride number 5, where he, as I said earlier, would face off against Igor Vovchanchyn. Good fucking luck, Shoji. You're going to need it in that one.
Right.
As for Wallid Ismail, he would take a break from the world of MMA. Nearly 3 years, in fact. He wouldn't fight again until July 2001, where he would return to Japan to fight at Pride number 15. So it's going to be a while before we see old Wallid here again.
And eyebrow business to take care of during that time.
Yes. Takes us to fight number 3 of the evening, and oh god, kill me. For our third fight of the evening, we see Jughead Daijiro Matsui, who stands 5'9", was 199 pounds, and was 25 years old at the time. Daijiro Matsui's MMA record was 0-0-1. He's facing off against, Sanae Kikuta. I'm trying to get excited for this fight. But trust me.
I got excited on how stupid his fucking entry videos are.
Sanae Kikuta, he stands 5'9", was 200 pounds, and was 27 years old at the time. His MMA record, meanwhile, was 7-2. We last saw Matsui at Pride number 3, where he fought to an agonizing 30-minute draw against Akira Shoji. And we last saw Sanae Kikuta lose via submission at Pride number 2 against Rickson Gracie in an agonizing 33-minute bout. What do we expect is going to happen in this one? Well, let's find out.
It's gonna be an exciting fight. Yeah.
Boss opens up with a comment. Now, hopefully, he's going to do more than his last fight. Fuck. I hope so too, boss. But I don't think so. Round number 1. Quadros says he hopes that it doesn't turn into a man-on-man hug fest, though he expects it to be different. He immediately follows that with, "It's starting to look like it's starting to look a whole lot like the Gracie fight."
And I expect this to be quite a bit different fight than Kikuta's fight with, and it's starting to look a lot like the fight with Gracie already.
Kikuta body locks Matsui in the corner. Kikuta trips Matsui to the mat. Kikuta throws a couple of punches, surprisingly. Quadros already starts shitting on this mat as he uses the Sakuraba versus Newton fight as an example of a grappling match that has action.
We saw Carlos Newton and Kazushi Sakuraba go after each other. We've seen Daijiro Matsui and Akira Shoji go after each other. We want to see Kikuta go after Matsui because Matsui will meet him in kind, I think.
Boss and Quadros start passing the time by chatting about random stuff. Can you see where this fight is going, folks?
Who would be an example of that?
Of what?
Of what you just said about the phenomenal fighter in the dojo that gets in the ring and doesn't pan out.
Let me think. Why?
Well,
You had somebody in mind?
Kikuta spends about 2 minutes on top. Then Matsui reverses him and they get to their feet. Kikuta gets the body lock again, and once again he takes Matsui down. Kikuta gets the side mount. Matsui is breathing like a rabid animal.
There's that breathing.
Kikuta gets a low mount, then goes back to side control. Matsui escapes again, and they both stand. Kikuta gets him right back down, and Quadros laments about wanting to see Kikuta go for a submission. Yes, anything from this position. A punch, a kick, something.
But see, it's two Japanese fighters. Every time there's a fight like that, they never strike. Whenever they're in guard or anything, they never fucking strike.
I don't know if it's an honor thing or if... I know Matsui, he's a pro wrestler. He's used to fake punching guys.
Speaking of fake punches, that comes in later in the fight. Those little fucking slaps they give each other. Yeah, good fucking time.
Meanwhile, Kikuta is a Pancrase veteran. Well, I guess you could say he's a Pancrase veteran. He should be used to punching and kicking opponents because Pancrase kind of encourages that.
It just never fucking happens.
Strong double leg up kicks by Matsui with a nice one right to the breadbasket. Kikuta gets right back down in the side mount. Another nice roll and reversal by Matsui, and Matsui winds up on top in a high side control position. Matsui attempts to mount, but Kikuta bucks him off and kicks him away, and we are back to standing. 1 minute left in the round. Leg kicks by Matsui. Overhand right by Matsui. Stalemate here, and the round ends 10 minutes down. First round is done. Round number 2. Quadros says this fight just got real exciting with the last 2 minutes of round 1.
Well, this fight just got real exciting with that last couple minutes.
What? What fight was he watching?
Well, like, he Quadro called it out. It's like, no, Boss Run is like, what's going to happen is, we've had this boring round, and then the last 2 minutes they're going to get up and start fighting. And they somewhat did.
Yeah.
Somewhat. But, that's the thing is any action is considered excitement when you've had fucking nothing the entire time.
Well, I knew this fight was going to be a dog turd, so I was watching it while drunk, too. So I was watching on the first fast forward. I was like, all right, well, I know I'm not going to do much. I'll just be drunk and, watch on fast, because that was how it was like, a little more action for me then.
See, I did my version, which is I have it playing in the background while I'm playing a game. Just because I know the fight, nothing's going to fucking happen in the fight. But I still want to listen to the commentating, see if those two sons of bitches, because Boss is always goddamn drunk. So you never know what he's going to say.
Fucking Sanae Kikuta and his boring ass fights. Before the actual start of the round here, Kikuta is too wet and must be dried off. Patrick Swayze must be in the crowd somewhere. Matsui attempts a kick higher than is physically possible, and he ends up falling like a complete dumbass onto his ass. This allows Kikuta to get right on top of him. More intense breathing from both men.
Kikuta back to his huffing and puffing.
Kikuta confuses the hell out of Boss and Quadros with a measured tap on the mat.
Uh-oh.
What was that?
You don't want to do that 3 times.
No, because the...
No, I have it here. I know exactly what it was. See, he was making fun of Matsui because Matsui's a professional wrestler. So you know how wrestlers start tapping on the mat to get energy? He was doing exactly that. He's going bam, bam, and then gets up to win the match. That's what he was trying.
Warrior or Hulk Hogan.
Heck yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Oh, okay. So I have something weird written here, something uttered by Boss.
Bang it a bang it a bang, and there we go.
The frustration begins to grow in both commentators.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he just keeps that arm wrapped around the neck and holds him there. It's frustrating almost.
Yeah.
The confusion of the rules also grows in both commentators as they wonder whether knees to the head are allowed here.
Right? Are the knees to the head allowed? Here?
As far as I know.
Yeah, because they change sometimes the rules, eh?
Well,
For FYI, guys, pre-2000 bouts didn't allow knees at all to the head. You should know this as you recorded this in the studio after 2000, but maybe somebody should have alerted you guys to that.
I do want to point out, even though there's confusion about certain rules, thankfully, in this Pride, we finally find out that the rule stands that if it actually gets to the 30 minutes, it's an automatic draw.
Yes, because
like that would explain so much of the previous fucking Prides. Like they mentioned that, I'm like, yeah, because some fights that I'm like, it's not a fucking draw, but
right.
It makes sense if it gets to 30 minutes, automatic draw. I'm like, all right. You know, shitty fucking rule.
Unless you're talking about Sanae Kikuta versus Rickson Gracie, which went to past 30 minutes and it was one long round.
Yeah, but those were before the, they had no rounds.
Right.
But I mean, all the fights that have had a time limit that end up in draws is because they ended up at a time limit.
Yes, that's right. So there's no judges at all at this point. If a timed fight does go all 3 rounds, it's automatically a draw.
And that explains so much, honestly.
Stuck in the corner here, Kikuta manages to get a guillotine choke in the mounted position. Matsui eventually gets free. I'm sorry, but Kikuta isn't an exciting fighter so far.
I'm sorry, but Kikuta is just not an exciting fighter so far.
It's a Quadros from a comment from Quadros. He's apparently just apologizing to everyone who's watching. 5 minutes have passed, and Kikuta is on top in side control. The crowd hits the concession stand for gyoza and yakisoba, which are traditional concession stand food items at the Tokyo Dome. Matsui shouts out from pure frustration.
Getting frustrated there.
Hey, at least he feels something. Better than him just laying there and not doing anything at all. Kikuta gets to mount. Call in the refs. Our fighters are in the corner and need to be repositioned. Jesus, says Boss.
Jesus.
Jesus!
Matsui hits Kikuta back with about 50 palm strikes that don't do a whole lot of damage.
They were just silly to watch. They're like, it's all this like wrestling stuff. Like, these are like the slaps I would see at a wrestling match.
Well, what's funny is that in Pancrase, they have no gloves. They have like shin guards, and there's only open-handed strikes allowed in Pancrase. So this is almost like a Pancrase hit here. Yeah. Because you're only allowed to hit with an open palm in Pancrase.
But like, when you look at the hit, there's no force behind it.
No, and Matsui's not a Pancrase fighter, so what the fuck is going on? Matsui tries to push Kikuta off him, but ends up giving up his back. As Kikuta slips off, Matsui manages to get on top. He's in half guard. 3 minutes left in round number 2. Matsui does nothing from this position. Kikuta reverses Matsui. Again, back to square one, laments Quadros.
Whoa! Now Kikuta doing a nice reversal there, but again, we're back to square one.
1 minute left in round number 2. Boss calls the Gracies the Columbuses of the upside down heel kicks. Hilarious.
Right. I think they were the forerunners of that. You know, the, what should we call that? The upside down heel kick?
Yeah, they were the Columbuses of the upside down heel kick.
Yes, pasito.
What the fuck has Boss been drinking? The round ends here with Quadros filling in the silence with bullshit. Quadros comments on the lack of response to the end of the round from the audience. Again, as I just said, they all headed to the concession stand. Round number 3. Kikuta rushes forward looking for his favorite body lock. Both Quadros and Boss do silly voices as Kikuta moans in the ring.
In case I get caught in a swamp.
DC trackers on top.
Kikuta gets Matsui down to the mat. Quadros details the 3 steps of Sanae Kikuta, which is 1. The body lock, 2. With underhooks, 3. Spin off the ropes, trip down into guard. Lock up, wait, hilarious. Boss or Quadros is fucking hilarious here.
The 3 steps of Sanae Kikuta. Body lock with the underhooks. Spin off the ropes, trip down into the guard, lock up, and wait.
Quadros and Boss keep themselves entertained with random nonsense. 5 minutes pass.
Random nonsense and like mixed in with bitching about the fighters.
Yes.
Because this is one of those fights like we've seen in previous prides where they just rip the fighters a new one.
That is their specialty. When they get bored, both Boss and Quadros will entertain themselves no matter what.
Now he's got the other rope, the vertical rope, next to his ear.
Yeah,
He should just grab that top rope and pull it straight down. Choke him out. Just pull the 2 ropes together like, I got you. Now, do you remember UFC 8 when Jerry Bolander fought Scott Ferozzo, and Scott Ferozzo had the tights on?
No, I don't know.
Okay, he had these tights on like a tank top, and Jerry Bolander grabbed the 2 ends of the tank top and pulled it around his neck for a while. I was trying to choke him out with it.
That's legal.
Yeah, it was, but it didn't work. The point I'm trying to make is that if Kikuta and or Matsui or any other fighters for that matter really want to become legends, they've got to dominate. They've got to close the show and have some finality in it.
5 minutes have passed here and nothing has happened. Kikuta is still on top of Matsui. Kikuta goes for the same mounted guillotine, to which Matsui reverses him and gets on top. Kikuta has him locked up tight, so expect this position to last for a while. The boredom is broken up by a reposition, and the round ends here with Matsui on top, not having done a single thing. Deafening silence from the crowd as the fight is ended in light applause as it's announced as a draw.
The fight's a draw.
Yeah, you hear the people. Nobody's cheering. Nobody's applauding.
Because this fight was anticlimactic.
Quadros sounds simply defeated. Thoughts on this fight, gentlemen?
So I knew it was going to be a turd. As I was watching it fast forward, I think they should find something else to do with their time.
You know what? Yes, it was a boring ass fight, but I will say from what I was watching the fight, I think Matsui improved.
What?
Compared to his other shit, he was slightly better.
Oh, okay, maybe. My thoughts here, this was completely expected by me. Sanae Kikuta is a lump of shit, and that is a generous comparison. Daijiro Matsui isn't anything special himself, but at least he has an excuse for being a lump of shit. He's a straight up pro wrestler. Kikuta had real MMA experience in Pancrase, so he should be ashamed of himself. Fuck you, Sanae Kikuta. Fuck you.
Tell us how you really feel.
And you know what? Fuck these guys. I don't even cover what happens to them. But I think both men would be back in another Pride.
This fight's gonna be action-packed, trust me. Sakuraba gave us, all his fights were beautiful, action-packed, and Allan Gois, I saw him fight in Pancrase. He fought Frank Shamrock there, and that was an action-packed fight too. So, for sure, this is going to be beautiful.
Moving on to fight number 4 of the evening, which sees a returning Kazushi Sakuraba, who stands 6 foot, was 183 pounds and 29 years old at the time. His MMA record was 3 wins, 1 loss with 1 no contest. He's facing off against Allan Gois from Brazil, who stands 6 foot, was 200 pounds, and was 27 years old at the time. His MMA record, meanwhile, was 3-1-1. So, who is this Allan Gois?
I want to put up a good show. I know I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna fight with him the same way that I fight with anybody. I'm gonna try to kill him right there. That's my job. I'm here to kill him.
Born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Allan took up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the age of 7.
Remember, he's from Brazil, so he probably had some street fights.
Yes. When he was 12 years old, Allan visited Rickson Gracie's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dojo and ended up becoming a full-time member. He was awarded his black belt under Rickson Gracie at the age of 18, and at 19, he decided to move to the United States. In May of 1995, Gois made his MMA debut under the Pancrase promotion, where he fought Frank Shamrock, legendary Pancrase stalwart and brother of Ken Shamrock. That fight would end in a draw. Returning to the good old USA, Gois fought in 3 extreme fighting promotion events, stacking up wins via submission. He was then moved on to the UFC, where at UFC 17 in May of 1998, he fought in a 4-man middleweight tournament, where he would eventually lose to Hollywood Dan Henderson via decision. And that brings us here to Pride number 4.
I remember seeing him before, and that's how I was wondering, like, where the hell have I seen this guy? I remember,
Yes. Before the fight, Quadros mentions how this might be a revenge fight for Gois, since his Brazilian teammate, Marcus Silveri, lost to Sakuraba at UFC Ultimate Japan via armbar, and it must have been humiliating for a Brazilian jiu-jitsuist to lose to a pro wrestler that way. And again, that was the fight where Sakuraba originally lost via knockout, but the ref, Big John McCarthy, had went to the back, seen that he made a mistake, and then declared the fight a no contest. So Marcus Silveri ended up getting hurt. No, Tank Abbott ended up getting hurt, and they brought in Sakuraba to replace Tank Abbott. Tank Abbott was supposed to fight Marcus Silveri. So that's how Sakuraba both lost and won against the same opponent in a tournament fight.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. The crowd is definitely amped up for Sakuraba, and he is quickly becoming one of the most popular fighters in Japan.
This is Sakuraba, Conan Silveira in Ultimate Japan. And there he is, Kazushi Sakuraba. As I was saying earlier, Conan Silveira lost.
Round number 1. Gois tries to hold Sakuraba's hand, who responds with a high front kick. Single leg takedown by Sakuraba. Sakuraba is on top, nearly gets into a triangle, though, after throwing a punch. Gois wraps up Sakuraba's neck, but Sakuraba isn't in danger being in half guard, though it has to feel uncomfortable. Sakuraba gets out, stands, receives 2 kicks from Gois.
I will point out, this is the first time I think we've seen a fighter actually fighting while laying down.
Oh, you're talking about Gois and his up kicks?
Yeah, before that, people have just gotten up. Yeah. This is the first guy that stays down, but he's still fighting.
That just drove me nuts. It was like a large baby throwing a tantrum that Sakuraba was fighting against. That's what it looked like to me. It's like he's throwing a little temper tantrum, just kicking his leg.
Well, come on! The funny part is, I think the exact same thing. I'm like, because while I'm watching this fight, I'm like, you know what? This reminds me of what is it, drunken fighting style, where they lay on the floor and just try to lay kicks and stuff like that.
Gross! Sakuraba's ear, his cauliflower ear, is all busted open and bleeding. Fucking disgusting. Sakuraba did have some pretty bad cauliflower ears, so this isn't a complete surprise. Sakuraba paces in front of a downed Gois, but it's merely a stalemate. Sakuraba almost does a cartwheel as he tries to get past Gois' legs. He gets into Gois' defenses, but Gois smacks him with a well-timed upkick. Sakuraba kicks him back. Sakuraba has the face of silent fury. He looks like he's fuming, like he's really fucking pissed off here. We are still here with Gois lying on his back. Yikes.
Alright, so, are elbow drops illegal?
Elbow drops.
Because honestly, that's what he should have tried. He should have tried just jumping at this son of a bitch. Just elbow dropping him, man. Because every time he gets near, he gets kicked.
The Macho Man.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Just go top rope. You have ropes, just use them. Top rope elbow drop, man. Just smack that guy.
Yikes! There's a stinging leg kick by Sakuraba. Quadros quips, sounds like a cap gun going off.
Oh, that sounded like a cap gun going off. That was a
fierce up kicks by Gois. Sakuraba fights to get past his legs, but is getting a lot of punishment as he does. 5 minutes down in round number 1. Sakuraba finally gets back on top where he delivers a few punches. The crowd is definitely back from the concession stand as they are very, very lively here.
He's going leg lock. He's trying something.
Whoa! Allan blocking the punches by Sakuraba.
Sakuraba sits on Gois and tries for a leg lock, but he ends up going for a toe hold instead. But Gois escapes and grabs Sakuraba from behind.
That was almost I thought the match was gonna end there because I saw that toe hold bend really badly.
Yes.
So I'm like, I thought he was about to tap, and all of a sudden he just got free. I'm like, oh shit.
As Gois has Sakuraba from behind here, Sakuraba holds on to one of his arms for a possible Kimura or armbar. Gois pulls Sakuraba to the mat, but Sakuraba lands on top and side mount for just a brief moment before Gois moves him into his guard. They both exchange grazing punches. More up kicks by Gois with Sakuraba standing. 3 minutes left. Gois nearly trips Sakuraba by grabbing his ankle, but Sakuraba gets right back up and right back into the same position. Sakuraba gets fancy with his footwork and ends up being tripped by Gois down to the mat. Gois gets Sakuraba's back. Gois wraps his arm under Sakuraba's neck with a full-on rear naked choke under his chin, but he didn't get a chance to get his left hand free to apply pressure needed, and Sakuraba ends up turning him and escapes. Sakuraba back on his feet, and Gois is lying on his back with 1 minute left. Gois grabs Sakuraba's ankle again, and Sakuraba falls right down to his ass. How many times can Gois do that before Sakuraba learns?
Apparently not. First round, it's the same mistakes over and over again. Sakuraba gets close, gets kicked in the face.
Gois is on top of Sakuraba, with Sakuraba whose head is in the ropes. Gois puts his knee on top of Sakuraba, who rolls, and Gois tries for a choke again, but Sakuraba manages to put him down onto the mat. The round ends here with Sakuraba on top, and Quadros calls this some of the best jiu-jitsu he has ever seen. Wow!
This is some of the best jiu-jitsu I've ever seen in mixed martial arts, for sure.
Beautiful.
That's high praise from Quadros. Round number 2 opens with measured circling. Sakuraba shoots in with a single and gets Gois down onto his back. Quadros loves Gois' leg work. He talked about it in round 1 and he's still riding it here in round 2.
But look at his leg work.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
It's very technical.
As Sakuraba takes a peek at Gois' package, he gets reversed and put onto his back for his creepy gazes. Gois tries a few strikes and Sakuraba returns some. Sakuraba's nose is bloodied. Gois grabs Sakuraba. Excuse me, what the fuck? Gois stacks Sakuraba up, where he eventually lands in north-south position. Or as we like to call it, the freaky mount. Which seems to cause a disgusted look on Rickson Gracie's face. Gois moves to Sakuraba's back. Gois goes for the choke again, but misses and winds up on the bottom. Sakuraba inspects Gois' groinal region, eliciting another disgusted look from Rickson Gracie, followed by what I can only assume are Brazilian curse words.
There's going to be trouble. But every time he just misses to put that hook in, and that gives Sakuraba the opportunity to twist out, to turn out.
Oh my god! Gois straight up gets a blowjob from Sakuraba. Gois lays his head back, holds Sakuraba's wrist as Sakuraba is face deep into Gois' dick. 5 minutes left. Gois tries to get up, and Sakuraba tries to go for a Kimura, then armbar, but nothing fruitful comes of either of these planted seeds. Sakuraba gives up his back. A moment later, Sakuraba rolls and manages to get back on top in Gois' guard. But after a moment, he just stands up. 3 minutes left in round number 2. Gois delivers a few leg kicks from his back, but we are still here at a standstill. About a minute passes. Quadros says, "As a martial artist, I am learning from this fight."
As a martial artist, I am learning from this fight.
He wants to make you go out and try it on some people.
And your back and kick.
Yes.
Well, I will say Sakuraba, like I mentioned, the first round he kept making the same mistake, but in the second round he learned. He learned his goddamn lesson because he wasn't going in for as many kicks.
I don't know. I just found it ridiculous.
I don't know if Quadros had notes from. So, obviously, when Pride started becoming popular in 2000 and they broke into the pay-per-view market for like American audiences, and they had Boss and Quadros, they hired them to do the commentary. They looked at it and said, okay, we want you to go back and do commentary of all our original events that no one ever got to saw outside of Japan.
Yeah.
So, like, here are some notes for you guys. Like, when Sakuraba's on screen or he's fighting, we want you to fucking say it's really good.
But, I mean, he is. But he is good.
He is, but like Quadros just like lavishes praise on Sakuraba at any chance he gets. And now Sakuraba will really prove himself in future Prides, but at this point...
But I mean, like I said, compared to earlier Prides...
Yeah, he's a star, and then...
Right, yeah, he was a star in 2000, and so they're looking back at his first fight saying, oh, we gotta really build him up because he's gonna become fucking huge.
Right.
But at this point, Sakuraba's nothing special.
No, but he is improving, and that's what I give him. Like, that's what I give all the... Wasn't Sakuraba one of the pro wrestlers?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, they some of them have improved, and some of them have improved a lot.
Oh, wait till we get to, what's his fucking name?
Oh my god, yeah, no shit. Fucking Osaku?
No, I was thinking of Yuhi Sano.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that in a moment, folks. 1 minute left. Gois kicks at Sakuraba's right knee, which is taped up from prior injuries, I assume, and that's kind of fucking dirty. The round ends still in this position.
By the way, I want to point out when he strikes the knee, I believe it's at this moment, this Boss Rudin points out just how much of a trickster he is. Because he's like, if I ever get kicked in the knee, I like to pretend that it hurts. So then I walk back, and then the fighter comes at me, and then I strike him down.
I have this trick that if somebody kicked me in school, and even a little bit close to my knee, I would grab my knee and pull my knee up and act like I hurt my knee. And then when he came closer, I would kick with the same leg. Bang!
I'm like, oh, you trickster, you, man.
What's funny is Boss is throwing in little tidbits of his bar fighting defenses.
Right.
And of course, Boss is famous now because he has his defense video for bar fights where he straight up teaches you how to kill a guy with fucking whatever's lying on the bar.
I've seen clips of that. I really have. I've watched clips and it's like, wow.
Yes.
You can grab an ashtray and smash it in the guy's face. It's like,
Yes. Yeah, Boss teaches you how to kill a guy in a bar.
Never look away from your opponent. Look, sir, I really don't want anything of this. And I go whoop, like this, and I slit your throat, and it's over and out.
Well, I just found it so funny that he made that reference. I'm like, Boss, you're a tricksy motherfucker.
It's almost like the Simpsons episode where Bart has the big brother, and Homer gets in a fight with him, and Bart's, after they get in a fight, Bart asks him, Dad, how'd you do that one trick? He goes, when you're lying on the ground, you scream, I'm a hemophiliac! And when the guy turns around and walks away in disgust, that's when you kick some back.
yeah.
Oh. That takes us to round number 3. There's a body kick by Sakuraba. Failed single leg takedown by Sakuraba. Gois on top in the corner, and they fight for position. The ref stops them to reposition our fighters. Sakuraba kind of fights for an armbar. Gois takes Sakuraba's back, and he tries to work in a choke. Gois just kind of hangs on here as he takes a breather. Gois sinks in the choke, but his position is not very good, and he ends up getting put onto his back by Sakuraba. Though he still has Sakuraba's neck wrapped up. While it looks tight, it's really hard to finish a choke from this position. Just lay back and let the good feels wash over you. Sakuraba lays his head into Gois' groin again, and Gois just relaxes.
Oh my god, like, you could tell they were drank from the movie before, but it just looks so ridiculous, because they are literally resting. It's not like they're trying for something and just taking it slow. No, they are fucking sleeping.
Yes. There's a couple small strikes by both men, but there isn't much on them from either of their punches. Quadros and Boss compare this fight to Sakuraba's previous fight in Pride, with Quadros claiming that he feels like there is more at stake here with this fight than the others.
I think they're fighting with a lot more pride in this fight. Whereas those first couple fights, it was more like they kept rolling around, they would go for a submission, they'd let it go, and it was more like, not a sparring match, but
yeah,
it wasn't
more the grappling match.
It wasn't the tension.
Yeah.
It wasn't like life or death depended on it. Whereas this match, I think there's a lot at stake.
Sakuraba now stands over Gois. 5 minutes remain in the fight. A stomp to the solar plexus by Gois, as quipped by Quadros. A couple hard leg kicks by Sakuraba. And this goes on for about a minute as Sakuraba circles a prone Gois.
I also want to point out, this is, I believe, and you might want to quote me on this, the first time I hear the word pride being spoken for a pride event.
I think they're fighting with a lot more pride in this fight.
Like they say the actual word pride, which I'm surprised. Like, oh, he has pride, blah blah blah. And it's the first time I've heard them say this. And for an event called Pride, they should use that word in every other fucking sentence.
You're talking about in reference to not Pride Fighting Championship.
No, just being prideful.
Yes, okay.
This is the first time. Like, you would think for an event called
there's
Pride.
all sorts of ways you can throw that in.
And they should.
Yes.
Remind you what the fuck you're watching. Like in that Matsui fight, I didn't know what the fuck I was watching.
3 minutes left in the fight, and Gois finally stands up. Sakuraba shoots in and takes Gois down by a single leg, but then stands up again after a moment. We spend the last minutes of the round here in this same position. Once the round ends, Sakuraba again helps Gois stand up, and since his fight went the distance, as they say, it's an automatic draw. At this point in time, Pride, again, we just talked about this, Pride had not set up any judges or judging criteria for fights, and that will come a little bit later. So we have a draw. What did you guys think of this fight?
It's a guy who knows, and Gois really good jiu-jitsu, and Sakura, they just couldn't figure out a way. Neither of them could figure the other one out.
Yeah.
It was a good draw, I guess.
That's the thing is both Boss and Quadro were both saying that, overall, Allan was better. And to me, it wasn't. It was Sakuraba. Like, I will say, Allan was really good at fighting while laying down. Like,
yes.
But at the same time, like, watching this fight, and I kept asking I wrote down questions because since I know nothing, I didn't know the rules. I found out the next fight or one of the next fights, the rules answered the questions answered themselves. But I'm like, is it illegal to punch the leg? Because there were so many times when Sakuraba should have fucking done that.
Yes.
So that's the thing is it was Sakuraba improvement, but at the same time it shows he's not that knowledgeable.
Yes. Well, so you're watching the evolution of MMA happening in a small nutshell here, because from Pride number 1 to Pride number 4, new techniques are being developed that other fighters are going to take from in the future, such as Gois's ground attacks here with the up kicks.
Yeah.
That was not something that had been done in the previous Prides, and not something you saw a whole lot of in MMA as a general, even with UFC. So people are seeing this, and now MMA as a sport and technique is going to evolve from this. They're going to look at this and say, oh man, that's really fucking effective. Like, you can kick from the ground and you could potentially do some damage here. So, taking a little slice of MMA history here, you can see the sport evolving. Back in 1998, and you look at MMA now, well, it had a beginning, and this was its beginnings. Mm-hmm. So Pride was really instrumental in evolving MMA. Well, that's 4 fights down with 4 fights left. That takes us to the halfway point. It's going to be our intermission. And won't you join us as we play a couple video games for both yours and our amusement. And then also, this is probably where we'll say goodbye to Machine. He has to get back. He works first shift, so he has dinner to eat. And he has...
I have to toil to make someone else richer.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to go play some video games real quick, and then we'll be back for the second half in just a moment.
Welcome to Intermission.
We're playing some time killers here. All right, put in some credits. Hit the select button. All right.
What the hell is this game?
Press start.
All right.
Select your fighter. I'll be Thug.
Am I using the sword or what?
Is this not working here? Oh, let me see. Hit that. Oh, there you go. Use the D-pad.
Okay.
There's a guy with a chainsaw. We're Hanson.
No, I'm gonna use the knight.
Wolf.
Oh god. Look at how cheesy this fucking game is.
Jesus Christ. Medieval Europe.
In 1202 AD.
Oh my god. This is like if what is the name of that video game? Adventure Quest had a fighting style. Holy crap! Like 3 hits and you already killed him.
He's just timing me out.
Wait, what's hilarious is you can hack off limbs, like legs and arms during the middle of the fight. Like, smash me with your sword here. Like, one of those buttons is a sword, and you can literally cut off my arm.
Well, I don't know which one.
I think it might be your lower O button.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Somewhere.
Take that.
Do it. Another sword. Oh.
You will cut my arm off. Oh, yeah.
Excalibur!
It's still twitching.
You didn't take a sword arm.
Grab the arm, bro. It's just a flesh wound.
What are you spit at me? Oh my god.
Alright, don't let the one arm, like, no arm man.
He's trying to fight him.
I can't take it. Oh my god.
Wait, what do you have, like, double health?
Alright, it's me versus you now, AJ.
Alright. Since it's Pride, I will go. Musashi.
Alright. I'll go with Leaf.
You will make like a leaf and get the fuck out of here.
This game is so fucking cheesy.
Nordic
That's what makes
Conquest.
it. I remember playing this in the arcade.
Hey, give me a second. Let me make sure everything here works. All right. Ready?
Yes.
Go.
Look at those dead bodies back on that ship.
No! No!
Look at the fucking shitty ass graphics. It's gonna be so terrible.
No! My arm! No! Get the fuck out of that! No, come on.
Alright.
The reach on that axe is retarded.
Let's do one more. Hit the start button.
Boom.
Oh, the girl.
You ready for the Matrix?
Here comes Rancid.
The Matrix up in here? She was the lady in the red dress. That's what they don't fucking tell you.
Post-modern age.
Midnight Rose. That's my. Whoa.
And they blatantly stole fucking from Blade Runner. Look at that. It's like they took a
No, this is more
snapshot.
like an F-Zero map. Whoa! Jesus!
Whoa, what the fuck are you doing?
I don't know, but why do I always get stunned? No! Get the fuck away!
There's like no special moves in this game.
Oh no! So close. Oh!
Whoa.
No, come on.
Bam. Winner. Oh, that was fun. All right.
Oh yeah, now it was fun, huh?
Let's get back
Huh?
to
Now it was
Pride.
fun.